Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast Five, the online health series where we talk, or rather, we answer your questions about health and well-being fast. And today I have my dear friend on, Amber Fields. Hi, Amber.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, Amber is a founding launch team member of Ariel, a new CBD company. And the reason I had to read that is because Amber wears like 16,000 hats. She does like 16,000 things. It's amazing. And her newest thing is CBD and digging super deep into understanding what it can do for our body,
Mm.
how it can help us perform, and how do we use it and how do we know it's for us? And so that is why I'm having her on. But before we dive into the five questions that you know are coming, Amber, I want you to tell people a little bit about who you are and why you got involved with CBD.
Yes, so thank you, Erica, for having me on. It's always a pleasure to come on and chat with you. We have the most authentic and genuine and fun conversation. So, spending time with you today is the highlight of my day. So, I do, like you said, a lot of different things. I am about serving humanity in whatever capacity that people need it. I my day job is I work in the world of IT and I elevate businesses through technology, but so many times we sit down and we end up having conversations about health and wellness, spirituality, about whatever is coming up for them, and I'm like a hub of solutions, right? I want to be the resource person that brings them to that next step in life, helping them achieve their highest self or moving forward in their business. And so CBD came into my life because I kept getting on phone calls and having conversations with people where they're stressed out, they're tired, they're not sleeping, and we can't even get to the things that we intended to talk about because they're not in the right headspace, they're not in the right feels. They're not sleeping, and so they're stressed out and all these things. And so it was like, I feel like there's got to be something out there that can set them on the right path so that they can get to what matters to them.
Mm.
And it was like divine timing, that this happened. I kept seeing this pattern come into play. And then an old friend of mine came to me and said, I know you're busy, but we would love to have you as a founding member of this new company that we're launching. Here's what it is, and here's how it helps people. And I couldn't even say no if I wanted to, because everyone I know has some sort of stress, anxiety, hurting, pain, something. So that's
So,
how we got here.
so that's how we're here. And I'm so excited now to talk with you more about CBD because I also maybe if you I don't know I don't know time anymore after 2020, but sometime last year I did a whole CBD experiment and really dug in, and I found out some really interesting things, and I want to bring this conversation back because CBD has been hot for a while, but I feel like there's new companies popping up left and right, and people have so many questions about it now that we're home and with viruses and all this. So many people are looking for natural remedies, and so I think the first question I'm going to ask you of the five is, how does CBD work exactly?
So your body produces endocannabinoids, which are like neurotransmitters that bind to the cannabinoid receptors in your nervous system. Your nervous system is like everything. It speaks to every part of your body. As a health coach, I know you know that. So the CBD, or like the plant, produces phytocannabinoids, and there's like over 100 in the plant alone, which helps in aiding in all of those things that we'll talk about later. But that's essentially how it works. It's enhancing and giving back essentially what your body needs, in that inhibitor to kind of help enhance your reaction to things. So it's like the modern day superfood essentially.
I love that. And the endocannabinoid system, I will tell you, the first time I heard about it, it like blew my mind because it's such a new system. Like it's not a new system. This
Like it's not,
we
but it is.
recently found the system,
Mhm.
right? And so
Yeah.
it, the plant is so interesting to me because it's like it's able to find its own door in the endocannabinoid system that it's to
Mhm.
shut or open. And it always makes me think our bodies are amazing, and man, plants are amazing too.
Yeah. Both homegrown from the earth, right? So
Okay,
Yeah.
fair when you put it like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
So with that, CBD, you know this, it's like currently the cure all, like a superfood, right? It's like it can cure everything. But the reality is, I know that CBD is is best for certain things, or rather it's getting studied and best known for
Mhm.
certain illnesses, diseases, states. And so what I'm wondering for question 2 is, what are the best things to use CBD for?
Girl. So many things. Like I mentioned earlier, what I was hearing was a lot about not sleeping, inability to control stress and anxiety and frustration, inflammation, like I said, insomnia. There are even things in the plant that can help with the reduction of nausea. So, when cancer patients are on chemotherapy, there are some natural reactors in there that would help instead of taking like the over the counter I can't even remember what it's called, but it starts with an E. But you can take that pill, give you side effects, but instead you could take some CBD and really help with that nausea feeling. Women who are pregnant, it's safe enough for women to take that are pregnant from a broad spectrum, which is the non THC version. There's some mommies out there that would be willing to try the THC, but vomiting, pain. It's even been known to help with a reduction of acne, helping with appetite, like you name it. Essentially, if there's some ailment that you have, it's probably going to be able to help you with it.
The THC, so also known as full spectrum, it makes me laugh because I moved to Denver right recently, and in all of the hospitals, it's like, do not smoke pot, do not ingest pot, and like every single maternity ward bathroom, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh,
Got
I
it.
I got it.
Got
Like
it.
I got it. But broad spectrum, like you said, it doesn't have the THC component, which is and it does feel good. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, pregnancy is a journey. It's a
Listen,
journey.
it is not for the weak and nimble. Like, seriously.
Oh.
I had to give some to my daughter the other day. I took her to the doctor and her blood pressure shot through the ceiling. And I was like, you need a little CBD to kind of lower that blood pressure because your body just starts reacting to things happening in your world, right? And it's a natural suppressant of all that crazy.
It, and I think that the beautiful thing about it too is that it helps us with our stress. And I think we just have to acknowledge that stress happens. Like when you're talking about the nervous system, right? When we think about our mind, it's made up of the nervous system, right? It's the cues that we take in. It's how we feed ourselves. That's why the mind and body connection is such a thing, because our nervous system talks to our mind, vice versa. And we just forget it. Like we
Hmm.
just forget that that's a thing. But there are remedies, and many of them are natural remedies, be it from meditation to
Yeah.
CBD to these other things that will allow you to get the results you want without having to take maybe something prescribed, because I know a lot of people don't like taking prescription
Hmm.
drugs. So, with that being said, as we are not doctors, I think what is though important for us to talk about is that CBD, like you mentioned, CBD can work for these things. But
Hmm.
my question is, how can you tell if CBD is working for you?
I think it really depends on your body, your goals, and your expectations.
Mm.
We live in a microwave society and everybody wants instantaneous results with everything that they take. Not to say that you won't get that, but it also depends on you and yourself. And you'll get this, Erica, because it's about, okay, so starting with a low dosage and figuring out what is going to work for your body and the amount that you take. Look, what dose is good for you is not going to be good for me because we are just genetically built differently. So I could take, and it seems as though for like the neck up, so for migraines, for uh, tremors, brain issues, whatever, a low dosage for longer periods of time seems to help. The higher dosage for anything below the neck is what I have seen help. But is your issue acute? Is it chronic? Lifestyle matters. How are your eating habits? How are your lifestyle choices? Are you exercising? So I really think it's important for people to know that know your body. You know the issues that it's having, pay attention. Don't just take it to take it. Like take it and then take note oh, I took 25 milligrams at 9 o'clock in the morning, and at 10:30, whatever it is, my headache was gone, which actually happened to me today. Um, so I think you really need to be in connection with yourself. And then you just decide, like, know that you can start all over. So let's say, because I have had this happen in the past as well. My husband has chronic body pain, like chronic back pain, and we've taken some in the past, but we only gave it, a couple weeks. And he was like, I'm really not seeing a difference. And then we upped the dosage, kept it going for an additional 2 weeks. So about a month he had in his system, and he's finally able to relax. That aching pain is not there necessarily. Not to say that it won't come back, but he just had some of that relief. It's almost like turning down the volume on the radio so you can hear the music, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily make it go 100% away, but it does take the edge off for sure.
So there's a couple things that you said that I want to pull out if in case people miss them is one, you can tell if it's working by your unique body. So she gave us some rules and not rules. She gave us some guidelines usually from the head up, like it's lower dose. You said lower dose, right? Lower dose over a long
Mhm.
period of time. But you're going to feel it, right? You're going to feel it, but
Right.
you need time. So the two things I took away from this is one, your body is unique to you. So CBD will be unique to you, and it's up for you to know your body well enough to see if it is working or is not. And second, you
Mhm.
have to give it time. Like
Yeah.
like anything else in health, right? You've got to give it time, and one day is not time. Some people have miracle experiences with CBD in a day, like from 9:30, they take it at 9:30, at 10:30,
Yeah.
their headache's gone. But some people need a month. And I have heard, or at least my experience was, I also do it for a month because that's how long it
Yeah.
can take for some people. Get to that length. And then if you're not feeling anything, don't use it anymore. Like you don't need to keep
Well,
taking it.
right.
And I think that's the part I just want to emphasize too is like we get into these things where like when we think it's a superfood or something we should be doing, we keep
Mhm.
doing it even though we see no benefits. And what Amber I think is telling you is, and you tell me if I'm wrong, try it out.
Yeah.
If you pick a good brand and we know it works,
Mhm.
then try it out. And if you feel better, know that that's the CBD if it's the only variable you change.
Yeah.
But if you don't feel better, you don't have to keep taking it.
That's right. There's a couple other things I wanted to share. Do your research, right? I want you to check and see where it's coming from. And there's a QR code, right? So you can, for the good ones, you can scan that QR code, pull up the documentation on it, read on it. But there's a couple other things I want you to remember. There are some companies like mine and other ones that use other pieces and parts of the plant. So there's the stem cell, the CBG, which we use in a lot of our products, which enhances your experience with it, prolongs the longevity of it. It's the stem cell, it's the brain, right? CBN, which helps with sleep. We have a product that uses Delta 8. Yes, it does have THC, but it's like drinking 2 glasses of wine for some people. But for other people that I've given it to, they're like, I haven't used it at all. Like it's not, I've used it, but I'm not seeing that experience that I want to have happen. What I have found is a lot of them are users of other types of hemp or marijuana or other types of CBD. So again, very personal, very like you can't compare stories really when it comes to CBD to decide if it's working for you or not. You really just have to go for it on your own and decide what's working and what isn't.
That is a theme I feel like everyone I've had on actually for this past month has been like, it's unique to you. It depends. And we we hate that answer, but I think it's the most freeing answer on the planet because it means it's just feedback. It means you're not
Right.
fucking failing. It means that you're trying new things. So A, congratulations.
Yeah.
B, you're getting feedback, which B, congratulations that you're paying enough attention to get it. And
Mhm.
C, there are other things. There's
Right.
multiple forms of CBD, right? There's multiple paths to help heal pain. There's multiple things you can do. So it really excites me that you're bringing all this up. And you
Mhm.
mentioned something of, but in that comment or in your answer about QR codes, and that brings me then to my fourth question for you, which is how can you tell a CBD is fake? And I am just going to put a little context on this is like you said, everyone thinks it's a superfood. It got really hot. Tons of news stories out there that say 80% of CBD on the market is fake. People call it snake oil. I mean, there's so much debate about not only does it work or not work, but is it real or not real? And I know some CBD is real. So I'm hoping that you can explain to us how we can find real CBD if it's something we want to explore.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as I mentioned, the QR code is super important. Do your research, even call the company. Have them tell you where it is grown, where the hemp is grown is really important. How it is, what type of solubility it has. So is it fat soluble? Is it water soluble? Like what is the are they using oil? Are they using water? What's the carrier essentially? Right. So there's just some homework that I always tell people like, if you want to use this and you want to have the best experience possible, you have to do your research. Well, I mean, I do know a lot of people that take pharmaceutical drugs that when their doctor just says take it, you're like, okay. But I always like to look, if I put this into my body, what are the side effects? What is the possibility that could happen? Now, CBD doesn't necessarily have side effects, but that doesn't mean that you can't do your research to find out the history of it, where it's coming from, how to use it, all of those things. If it does not have a QR code scan, that's a red flag to me, right?
Okay.
Because you want to know that that information is out there in public. And I hate to say this, but like Google it, right? What is everybody else saying about this particular product? Do the reviews, and then as mentioned before, it's your story. We're all unique. I love it because it means that we're all unique individuals and that we're not the same. And so therefore, of course, my experience with it's going to be different than yours and my husband's. So going off my own testimony, look, I have taken CBD in the past that has not worked. And I didn't necessarily consider it fake. I just didn't, I either used it wrong, which was actually always my first response, but maybe it just didn't have the right milligrams or the hemp was weak or whatever it was, right? You just have to, it's kind of trial by fire essentially.
It- the one there's two things I want to say. One is when you do actually scan the QR code.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only is it a
Yeah.
red flag that it's not there, but you got to scan it because the good ones will take you to actually see what's in their CBD in their product. The bad ones, the fake, the not so great ones will just take you to
Yeah.
their website just to
Yeah.
sell you. So there's that. And the second piece is, yes, it can totally be used or error, but sometimes CBD doesn't work, right? So for me, using a CBD isolate didn't work for me. Period. End sentence. It didn't make any changes
Yeah.
in my well-being, in my stress, in my sleep. Using full spectrum helped me with sleep, but my dose was too high
Mhm.
and I would wake up groggy. So for
Yeah.
me, right, it's like you said, it's this trial and error. So I do also want to give people freedom. Like you're probably not screwing it up. If it's not working,
Right.
it's it may be because we're human, but it may also be it just doesn't work for you and you've got to try the broad spectrum. You got to try the full spectrum. You got to try different types, different strands, different all because it's actually so in depth and the reason why we're not going though so in depth in all this is if you're curious about it, we don't want to overwhelm you. We want to give you the tools you need
Yeah. Because
to
there's a lot.
try it for yourself if you want to because if we could go in super 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 depth about all this stuff, but most of us we just want to know how do we tell if it's working, where should we look, and that's what we're really trying to deliver here because the purpose of these fast fives are really to
Mhm.
help give people um freedom to the multiple paths that exist in health. And Amber, I really do
Yeah.
love how you broke down such complicated information for people and gave, I think, hopefully gave people a big sigh, like let out a sigh if they want to try it.
Mhm.
So with all of it though that you said, my last question for you, and it's the same as for everyone else, is if people take one thing away from our conversation today, what do you hope it will be?
It's really hard to pinpoint one because there's a lot that you know, the thing that I find the most interesting about CBD, and I can't quote it, my girlfriend Stephanie said it as I was chatting with her and learning about this, but she said, don't expect it to change your life unless you are willing to change your life too. So CBD is a partnership, right? With like what we mentioned before. If you were on this journey to achieve your highest self, to be able to function at your highest capabilities, CBD is a partner in that, but it's not like anything, like it's like everything else. You can't just solely depend on it. It's not the only thing. You've got to be, and Erica, you'll appreciate this. You have to be watching what you eat. You have to be moving your body. You've got to be sleeping at the proper amounts of time that you need sleep, because there's also a thing called paradoxical effects. Let's say you take CBD and you were hoping to get energy, but all you did was sleep. That's your endo system telling you that you needed sleep, essentially. But people want to pinpoint it that the CBD didn't work. And it's just not the case. Your body is very intelligent, it's very smart, and it's very telling. Most of the time, and I'm sure you've probably seen this, and I know you've seen it in me, and you see it in lots of your other clients, we just don't listen. So as you're, using your CBD, know that it's safe. It's non-habit forming. I know people that are using CBD to move away from addiction, which in the world that we live in today, it's on the rise because we live in an unfamiliar world that we've, not navigated before. And so it essentially can help you, but it's a partnership. You can't be dependent upon it by itself.
All of that. All of that. I mean, it's the same with food. It's the same with sleep. It's the same with working out. It's our body is a system and it needs multiple
Mhm.
things to be its best. And we
Yeah.
can put different things in to help it. But one thing it'll never just be working out. It'll never just be food. It'll never just be CBD. It will never just be sleep. It'll never just be meditation. And I'm so glad you made that really clear because that's my beef with the health world. It's like, it's this diet, it's this
Yeah.
thing. It's like, it's this workout. And it's like, nah,
No.
it's you and your body and you listening to it. This is why people get, drop away with new jobs. This is why people look healthier when they find God. This is why people, like start to eat clean when they get new friends. Like there's so many avenues into it and it's all a piece of the puzzle and there's so many paths. So Amber, basically you're the best. And if people want to get in touch with you about Ariel or anything CBD related, how can they do that?
Yeah, you can message me at fieldyourfire@gmail.com. And, or you can look me up on Facebook, Amber West Fields, same on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Amazing. We'll link those below. And then if you have an Ariel link that we
I
can
do. Amber. So it's ariel.com/Amber Fields.
Okay, great. So we'll get that up there too. And I think that's it for now. I guess I'll let you go, unfortunately, because I love being with you.
Feel like we could
Uh,
talk forever about all
for
the things.
forever. And guys, if you enjoyed this episode and think others might too, go ahead and like it. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe so you can be notified when wonderful guests like Amber come on. So Amber, thank you so much, girl. And I will talk to you soon.